Welcome back to Traveling Dice. This is Jason. I have another hobby tip for you today. My number one favorite homemade hobby tool ever. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Jason, that's a cardboard box. And you would be absolutely correct. It's a cardboard box. And this is my favorite tool. I've had this cardboard box for over 10 years, believe it or not. And it's not so much the inside, it's the bottom. Now, granted, the tip I'm going to share with you only works really well if you magnetize your bases, which I call the channel Traveling Dice for a reason. I travel for a fair amount of my gaming. So I like to magnetize all my stuff because it makes it a lot easier to travel. And what you see here, these little raised up areas, these are a series of rare earth magnets that I super glue to the bottom of this box. Now, you want to be careful when you do this because initially, if you're too close together, they'll pull together. The last thing that you want is rare earth magnets with super glue slamming into one another. You'll never get them apart, and it's going to send super glue everywhere. It's a hot mess. I can tell you that from experience. Now, I love the size of this box too because it really fits my hand well. I can open up my hand and I have a lot of control. Now, why is this such an interesting tool? Well, if you magnetize your bases, like let's take this dryad for example, and say hypothetically I just assembled these guys, right? So I just assembled them and I'm going to go to prime. I'm going to go to prime these models. Now, when you go to prime them and you have them on a surface like this that's magnetized, I can move this at any angle I want, right? So I can make sure that I'm getting my primer. I can be really surgical actually with my primer, and I can get it in spots that are under these branches. I can maneuver them around to any angle very, very easily. This is actually can be hard to do if they're just laying on a flat surface and you're trying to come at it from a horizontal position, especially if your spray can is low, right? And I like to get every ounce out of these GW primers. They're very expensive, especially my matte varnish, extremely expensive, right? And I also want to make sure that my varnishes, I like to spray on my clear coats. I like to make sure that I'm hitting every area of the model. So being able to tilt and rotate is actually super handy. So this is definitely my number one homemade hobby tool. If you magnetize your bases, I suggest you make one too. You could do a bigger box and actually create like a handle on the inside, almost like a little shield. And I think that would work well. I find that typically I'm clear coating anywhere from 1 to 8 models, and this actually works well for my needs. But these guys aren't going anywhere. All right, if you enjoyed this hobby tip, make sure you hit the like button, and please do subscribe if you'd like to hear future hobby tips. Have a great day.